I have to ask you guys, are you a finisher? There are plenty of really long games out now, largely thanks to how popular open world games are. But despite how popular certain games are, it's pretty common for people to never finish them. I am guilty of this many times. And kicking off our list today of 10 of the most popular games that people never finished is the GTA series. That's right, one of the most iconic and recognizable franchises in gaming history. And it's been around for more than 2 decades, but despite the fact that just about everyone has played GTA, not nearly as many people have actually sat down and played the campaign front to back. Most people will just run around the open world and mess around online, or maybe they'll start the campaign, but then they will get sidetracked. But despite being one of the best-selling games of all time, less than 30% of the people who played GTA 5 on the PS4 actually finished the campaign. Of all the GTA games you've played, which ones have you actually completed the entire story for? This month's giveaway is for a brand new PlayStation 4 console. All you have to do to enter is like the video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, turn on those notifications, and tweet me why you want to win it with your Twitter handle included. Saints Row, the series, much like GTA, Saints Row is a massive game. It's all about just doing whatever you want in this open world of possibilities, populated by NPCs with poor motor skills and over-the-top reactions. The main difference between GTA and Saints Row is the tone of Saints Row has a much more cheesy and cartoonish style, as well as plenty of ridiculous weapons for you to use on enemies or on innocent bystanders to see how they react. Saints Row's campaigns are usually pretty big commitments, and it's easy to just get sidetracked in the open world or just go for random mini games in a game, or maybe a game you made up, because games like GTA and Saints Row are great for just making up mini games for you and your friends to play. Everything to distract you from the main campaign. So which Saints Row campaign was your favorite, assuming you finished them? Call of Duty, the series. Despite being the best-selling game year after year after year, it's actually interesting how many people don't play the Call of Duty campaign. Every COD game is made up of 3 parts, almost every COD game. The campaign, the multiplayer, then a third mode, usually zombies. Zombies and multiplayer are harder to track since they're intended to be played over and over again for as long as possible. But the campaign is a finite mode, and it's usually only 5 to 6 hours long. So, despite the game selling tens of millions of copies every year, why do so many people not actually finish the campaign? COD campaigns are good. The last COD game to have a campaign was Call of Duty World War II, which sold a total of close to 20 million units. But despite that, only 32% of PS4 players and 42% of Xbox One players finished the campaign. So while people were pissed about Black Ops 4 getting rid of the campaign, well, it kind of made sense when you look at the actual stats and the numbers of how many people were playing they weren't playing the campaign. So I'm not really sure why everybody was griping. Dark Souls. Now, this is one of the most popular franchises of the last decade due to many reasons. It has a very unique gameplay formula, and its innovative combat system had a huge influence on third-person games and action RPGs to this day. But how many people have actually completed a Dark Souls game when compared to how many people have tried them? Now, Dark Souls is known for being super difficult with its combat system, and it really requires you to get good in order to proceed. It's not like other games where you can just get cheesy with it, or you can try the same strategy a whole bunch of times before it eventually works. Dark Souls requires more discipline than that, and while that's something that fans love about it, it's also something that pushes some players away, as not everybody wants to get good at it. And a lot of people rage at Dark Souls and set it down and never pick it back up. While beating Dark Souls is an extremely satisfying feeling, not a lot of people actually do it. The Battlefield series. Now, Battlefield is one of the best-selling franchises of all time, but it's kind of the same thing. It's in the same boat as Call of Duty, which we discussed earlier. Every Battlefield game is made up of a campaign and the multiplayer, which is often very expansive. Obviously, people are going to spend the majority of their time in the multiplayer, but despite there being a single player in almost every single Battlefield game, many people forget about it. Certain Battlefield games like Bad Company and BF1 even went out of their way to put a huge emphasis on the story, but when it comes down to it, most people would rather just hop right into the multiplayer and spend their time there. If you ask me, it's not going to be a long time before Battlefield goes the Call of Duty route and they just ditch the campaign altogether. After all, you can't really monetize a campaign in a game like Battlefield, at least not yet, and we all know how much EA likes to be able to monetize every aspect of their game. Guitar Hero the series. This was a great franchise, rest in peace, for you to just get together with your buddies and play around, or for you just to play by yourself and feel like a rock star. But one thing that people seem to forget about the Guitar Hero series, they actually had a story. That's right, they had a story. Every single Guitar Hero game had a single-player campaign, and many of them also had a separate co-op campaign, which was actually a pretty cool touch. I wish more games did that today, but how many people actually played it? All the songs of the game are unlocked from the start in quick play, so why would you play through the campaign if you're not an achievement hunter? In Guitar Hero Metallica on PS3, only 41% of players actually finished the campaign as the guitarist, 14% finished it as a bassist, and 11% finished it as the drummer. And the lowest, 7%, finished it as a singer. But it doesn't stop just at the campaigns, because in Guitar Hero 5, only 14% of players on PS3 actually got the trophy for completing 100 songs in quick play. So I guess a lot of people were buying Guitar Hero, they just weren't playing it that much. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, one of the best-selling games of the year, and it was also by far the most expansive game in the series. I played through the entire thing, I loved it. As opposed to being a more linear stealth game like older Assassin's Creed games, Odyssey is a full-blown open-world RPG with a massive map and tons of side quests for you to get lost in. But like many RPGs of this size, it can be easy to get lost in the spectacle in the amount of side activities constantly competing for your attention. Many people also walked away from Odyssey due to the repetitive nature of the side quests, and I understand that. It's definitely not for everybody. The grind was real. But when you compare the amount of people who tried Odyssey to the amount of people who got to the end of the story, I'm willing to bet the numbers are very different. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, one of the greatest games of all time. It's a massive open-world RPG with a great story and a soundtrack to boot. But despite the amazing storytelling, the amazing graphics, everything, it seems like not a whole lot of people actually saw this one all the way through the end. As of the recording of this video, only 42% of Xbox One players and 41% of PS4 players actually got the achievement or trophy for finishing the game on any difficulty. Now, I kind of understand this one due to the fact that this is a huge game. This is a long game, and the average playthrough will take you over 50 hours. It's pretty interesting to consider how many people say this is one of the best games ever made, but then see that less than half of those people who bought it on console actually finished it. So how would they know? The Destiny series. Destiny is one of those games that just about everybody has played at one point or another, but it's also a game that unfortunately a lot of people have walked away from for multiple reasons. It's a game with a lot of stuff to do, but when you look at the actual statistics of achievements and trophies, not a whole lot of people are actually doing it. In Destiny 1, only 46% of Xbox One and 40% of PS4 players completed a raid, and across both platforms, only about 35% of players have fully upgraded at least one subclass. And you jump over to Destiny 2, well, it's a similar story. Only about half the total player base have acquired all the subclasses, and only 26% of PS4 players and 32% of Xbox One players have actually completed the Leviathan raid. Very, very interesting. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to drop a like on the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel with post notifications on so you always get alerted when a new video goes up and you can get that elusive first comment. And at number 1 today, Skyrim. One of the best-selling games of all time. This is another one of those open-world games that's really easy to get lost in and completely lose track of your main objective. And this has led to a lot of people not actually finishing what they started, despite how good the actual story of Skyrim is. Less than half of Xbox Skyrim players have completed 10 side quests, and that's not a lot. And only about 40% have reached level 50. On the PlayStation, it wasn't doing much better. 36% of players completed 10 side quests, and only 16% of players reached level 50. But the most interesting bit of data that I could find was apparently only 53% of Skyrim players on Xbox and 42% of Skyrim players on PlayStation have actually unlocked the achievement trophy for finishing the main quest of the game. So, about half of the Xbox 360 and PS3 players never actually finished the main storyline, which is very interesting when you consider this game has sold over 30 million copies. Let me know in the comment section. Drop a like if you actually finished Skyrim. And there you have it. Those are 10 really popular games that most people didn't actually finish. There's nothing wrong with not totally getting that 100% completion on a game you're playing, but it's pretty interesting to consider how many super popular games that are out there that don't actually get finished by the people. So what is a popular game that you never finished? You guys let me know, and I'll see you soon.